What do you think I do for a living, Chris?
If Hitman for Hire Barry can redeem himself and live a life of peace as a struggling actor, then there's hope for... Wait, what's that? Oh, he hasn't been able to. Oh, and season 3 is going to be even darker. Okay, well then, buckle up.
Oh, if he's as smart as he is funny, I'm sold.
Besides catching up on what's happened between Barry, his handler Fuches, his acting mentor Mr. Cousineau, and gangster who needs a hug NoHo Hank, there's room to look at how this show came about and some of the little details that make it so addicting to watch.
Now close your eyes and turn around.
Costume often tells the story of a character before they even speak a line. Barry's primary job requires that he be forgettable and hard to describe, so outside of Natalie's birthday party where he dressed like a mannequin, Barry's clothes have been unremarkable, except for a bit of jewelry that appears throughout most of the first season. On his right wrist is a black metal band with PFC Jack Gustin Psalm 91:9 Semper Fidelis engraved on it. That turns out to be a memorial band that soldiers wear for fallen comrades. The scripture is, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." So far, we don't know who Private First Class Jack Gustin was to Barry, but he stopped wearing the bracelet after he finally stands up to Fuches, telling him that his new life starts now. Or after he takes care of Ross when she puts together that he was the assassin that she was looking for the whole time. Or never. Barry is steeped in two very different worlds. The first, naturally, is Barry's world of the paid assassin. That's the world of Barry Berkman. Barry Block is trying to live in another, perhaps even more cutthroat world. The world of aspiring actors and acting classes in Los Angeles.
That's show business for you.
Hader lived in this world, taking classes from the LA branch or Chicago's Second City while he was working as a production assistant on action movies. Hader and co-creator Alec Berg went back to that well for inspiration in creating Cousineau's class. Two things they witnessed made it into the pilot. Cousineau making Sarah cry and Sarah ending up grateful was pulled from something they saw happen. When Barry is drawn into the acting class by the person he came to assassinate, he's drawn into an all-cringe recreation of a scene from True Romance, complete with wig. Recreating the True Romance scene was another thing that they saw in the classes, something Hader called a bummer.
Oh, don't worry about that. You're just finished, that's all.
It's not news that the last couple of years have been, eventful. Yeah, let's go with that, eventful. Well, the creators are ready to make up for lost time. While there has been no official announcement on whether or not there will be a fourth season should that announcement happen, but season 4 is already written. Both season 3 and season 4 were written side by side. Hader and Berg have warned that as dark as the dark comedy has been, season 3 is even darker. One of the clear highlights of season 2 saw Barry being forced once again to do a hit that finds him face to face with a father-daughter taekwondo team. Played by stuntman Daniel Bernhardt, who has lent punchy, kicky skills to the John Wick franchise as well as Fast and Furious and Atomic Blonde. The daughter, Lily, though, proves to be one of the most difficult foes he's ever faced.
I mean, absolutely.
The terrifying karate girl was played by 11-year-old Jessie Giacometti. Wade Allen had told Hader and Berg about her during the first season, and she ended up being the perfect fit for an episode where a hit goes wrong. Hader had envisioned a Lily crawling up a tree and onto the house in one uninterrupted take. Unable to find a house with a suitable tree, they built a green screen structure to CGI a proper tree in post. In an interview, Bill Hader was able to talk about a highlight of that sequence where she bites Fuchs' cheek. Hader asked if she could do it like when a dog bites you and then just kind of stares, and she completely understood. One of the things that happen when you become a celebrity is people start telling you how and if you're attractive. Bill Hader discovered a strange phenomenon that popped up during press events, telling James Corden that a few of the women reporters revealed that they had not found Hader attractive, but at the end of the pilot, when he was shooting the gun, whew. Alec Berg, he says, likes to highlight that Hader wasn't attractive before. What are friends for, you know? During his time on SNL, Bill Hader was known for a lot of things. He did a lot of impressions, and of course, he's known for not being able to keep it together during sketches. Conan O'Brien asked Hader if he had conquered his giggle problem, and He has not. Particularly working with Anthony Kerrigan, who plays NoHo Hank, who Hader says cracks him up regularly. In particular, the rooftop scene, where NoHo Hank convinces Barry to train his men with a colorful bit of improv. What would Barry be without the affable and goofy Chechenian gangster NoHo Hank?
Hey, why?
He becomes an integral part of the show, often being responsible for derailing Barry's goals. It's hard to imagine then that Hank's time was meant to be brief on the show. He was meant to die in the first episode, but they found the character too fun to waste on a single episode, and NoHo Hank survived to become a regular on the show. The show's ensemble cast includes the members of Barry's acting class, full of talented actors all portraying less than talented actors trying to live the dream. One of those is Darcy Carden, who plays Natalie Greer, Sally Reed's main rival for parts. A lot of time actors will work together on different projects over time, but Hader's work connection to Carden goes back even further than that. When Darcy was at the point in her career her character is, she also served as Bill Hader's nanny. Darcy Carden these days is probably best known as Janet, the all-knowing AI from The Good Place, where she also acted with Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who plays Sasha on Barry. During the second season, Sasha is able to get Barry a job at the Lululemon store she works at, where Barry decides to try out accents on customers. When Sasha tells him how bad the idea is, she stresses
I would never play an Australian. I don't want to talk about it, but I would never play an Australian.
which turns out to be something she did do on The Good Place, playing the character of Simone.
Hey, babe. What do you want to talk about?
Her Australian accent for that show did not go over well, so we know why Kirby would shy away from it on Barry. For Bill Hader's Stefan sketches, writing partner John Mulaney often tried to sneak in things that would throw Hader off and launch him into the giggles, including when Mulaney appeared in the Stefan sketch and whispered in Hader's ear, "My girlfriend works at Yoshinoya Beef Bowl." NoHo Hank recalls the incident in the second episode of the second season, when he says he could go for a Yoshinoya Beef Bowl.
Yoshinoya Beef Bowl.
Despite its comic elements, Barry can get pretty dark. Hader and Berg thought that it was important to treat the violence of the show seriously and not to glorify it.
You have got to get in touch with your inherent darkness.
Not inherent.
Trust me, that is exactly what it is.
David Benioff, a showrunner from Game of Thrones and friend of Berg, got an early look at the episode, Make an Unsafe Choice, that finds Barry strangling a man in the backyard with a party happening on the other side of the fence while the victim repeats, "You don't have to do this," in Spanish. Benioff responded with a single swear. I mean, think about this. They had just managed to disturb someone responsible for the Red Wedding episode. Barry stood out partially by having a fully realized pilot where most shows take a few episodes or even seasons to find their footing. One of the core elements of the show is the relationship between Fuches and Barry. Fuches' loyalties can change with the wind, but he maintains his relationship with Barry by taking on a kind of paternal role, often telling Barry that he has his best interests at heart. Of course, he does not. The original pilot had Fuches as more antagonistic towards Barry, but HBO suggested a more friendly relationship, and Hader agreed, forcing them to reshoot all of Fuches' scenes for the pilot. When Hader was approaching the series he wanted to pitch, he started broadly, drawing on his experiences on SNL. While he was comfortable doing sketches, he said that doing them live gave him anxiety. So he set about wanting to write something where someone was good at something that had become a bit of a prison, but terrible at his passion. Once he had settled on the idea of Taxi Driver's Travis Bickle meeting the cast of Waiting for Guffman, his experience as the voice of fear in the Pixar movie Inside Out guided him on how to form the narrative from the character's emotions rather than the joke. Bill Hader created the show with Alec Berg, whose credits include shows like Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Silicon Valley. Berg was reluctant to make a show with a hitman as a lead, comically trying to transition into an actor until Bill Hader suggested that he be the titular character of the series. Not many comedies take a hard focus on visual style or artistic shots, like the slow-moving camera trailing just behind Barry and Ronnie as they have their fight. But then again, not many sitcoms center around a hitman trying to become an actor. One of the ways they used visual style to outline the story comes in the opening and closing shots of season 2. The opening shot was him walking out of darkness as he tries to leave his life as an assassin behind him. But naturally, that world isn't done with him yet. When his anger with Fuches sends him into his blind rage that results in him mowing through the unified gangs, including the men that he had trained, he walked back into the darkness, having failed to come into the light. Henry Winkler's Gene Cousineau lives his own double life, one as an acting guru and mentor to aspiring actors, and another as an actor struggling just like they are, hopelessly trying out for bit parts.
Wow. Being in show business is like a dream.
Cousineau embodies the worst traits of a self-absorbed actor who never really made it, selling his book with the title Hit Your Mark and Say Your Lines, the base instructions for any actor.
I wish I was dead.
Hader and Berg were more than willing to offer Winkler the part, like, hey, take it, it's yours. But Winkler unleashed his inner Cousineau by insisting on auditioning like everybody else, as long as Cousineau knew that he would get the part. That caveat separates the actor from the role.
Hey, we're waiting here.
The ultimate acting class move now would be to go another layer deep, do the scene from Barry where Ryan was doing a scene from True Romance, complete with a wig, but now with a self-consciously bad performance. If you've never seen a bad actor trying to portray bad acting, oof, it is a treat, my friends.
Don't listen to him, kid.